another moment, please. Okay, you're live. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening. I would like to call to order the Rocky Hill Public Building Commission meeting of Monday, August 10th at 5:32 p.m. Let's see. First item on the agenda is to approve our draft minutes from our July 13th meeting. Do I have a motion? Motion by Sal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Todd. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. Let's see, we'll do a roll call vote here. Looks like Commissioners Bates and Bodwin are not with us. Commissioner Gansey.
Yay.
Yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Longo.
Yay.
Mr. Marchand
Yay.
and Mr. O'Connor.
Yay.
All right, motion is approved. Next item is public comment. I don't believe we have anybody that has sent anything in, so no public comment for this meeting. And item 4 on our agenda is the Community Senior Center project. Discussions, updates with our owner's rep, Colliers. Go ahead, Matt.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing?
Hey, Matt.
Hi. General updates, projects moving along. A little bit of a slow week this past week as we try and resolve some issues. But tomorrow we've got some placement of a portion of the soil from the town yard. We're going to test that compaction tomorrow. Next week, we've got the gazebo install in its new location. We're also working with the design team on PAC on roof drain replacement that needs to happen. PAC is working on the Eversource switchover and transformer at the library. And they're also prepping for fiber optic conduit and cable to start next week. And then structural steel is set to land on site about August 26th, August 28th, somewhere in there. PAC's also going to get going on some of the interior demo. And the last one, going back to steel, is the one beam that we've identified for signing will be brought onto site on August 14th. So that's this Friday. And we're going to be working on a plan tomorrow at the OAC meeting in the morning, and we'll issue that out to John to circulate how to deal with the getting people safely into a good spot for signing that beam. Otherwise, we've got, let's see, we've come up across a couple issues recently, one of which is the common soil, topsoil issue that I mentioned. We're doing some test compaction tomorrow on a small portion of the topsoil, common fill from the town yard. Also, one of the pipes that was coming out of the building and running underground to one of the existing structures that was to be demoed is ends up being that it's ACM, it's asbestos containing material. So, maybe Rocco, maybe you can jump on that a little bit to describe what we're going to be doing. But DTC and QAM have been working on a plan to pull a portion of that out and reconnect it to the existing roof drains in the existing building. Rocky, you want to add anything to that?
find my unmute button. I don't really have too much to add to that other than what the plan is to expose a section of that pipe closer to the building, connect to it, and then run it under the foundation in an existing storm drain. We're basically using that existing storm drain as a sleeve to go under the foundation. The plan initially was to take all those storm structures out. PAC and the soils and structural engineer thought it would be more economical to flowable fill all those storm structures. So they're going to remain in place. They're going to get filled, and we're using one of them as a sleeve for the existing roof drains to get through the new foundation or underneath it.
Thanks, Rocco. One other thing that came up very end of, not last week, but the very end of the week prior, was PAC was digging down to just about the bottom of the storm structure, drainage structure location, roughly where the old playground was, and came up with some water issues, some water table, and what might be called a dirt boil. First time I have ever heard of such a thing, but they're working through with DTC a revision to the storm drainage structures out in that area, as they're not going to be able to go as deep as they were originally designed. The sump was originally going to go down to about 19 feet deep, and they're working on a redesign that's going to be coordinated with the town engineer to ensure that it meets all of the requirements. There's not really too much of an update on that beyond that at the moment, as DTC is working on a sketch. Rocco, is that where we're at this point?
Yeah, right now they're working out there. We're hoping to have it by today, by the end of the day today. So I've reached out to her. I couldn't get a hold of her this afternoon, so I'll try again tomorrow morning to see where they're at.
But we think we've come up with a resolution to that.
Can I comment on that, Matt?
Absolutely, Jim. Go for it.
Yeah, well, we discussed it this afternoon with you regarding that structure, but there's also two structures that are also very deep upstream of that. So those should be checked out too to see if that's going to be a problem. If it's in the water table, you're going to have to make adjustments, either get rid of the sump and make some other way of draining the soils, draining the parking lot. Those two could be a problem directly upstream of the one that's already been done. So they shouldn't just look at the one.
Those structures have been identified, and they're working on those too. So there's 4 that are in question, and they're looking at all of them.
Great. Thank you.
Moving on from there, from a budget standpoint, we're right on track where we plan to be. Everything's in line, so there's nothing really to be concerned about on a budget standpoint at this point. Schedule, PAC is doing a good job of keeping up with things, even with the unforeseen conditions and situations with the site that have come up recently. As I alluded to in the beginning, they're on a little bit of a slow week because of some of that this week, but they are doing a good job of being flexible, shifting around, doing things like shifting to some demo inside the building, putting the gazebo back in its new location, and trying to get some other things done while they're waiting for formal direction on some of these other site-related issues. So at the moment, they are still on schedule. And from a change order standpoint, if I just jump ahead, we don't have anything to review tonight. Brian, if there are any other questions on an update standpoint?
Well, basically, so the foundations are done 100% at this point.
All but one section just to provide access into the.
Okay. So
And I
it's-
missed it before, Matt. What is the steel date? August 26th, you said?
Yeah, delivery is August 26th to the 28th.
Okay, where's your schedule in your packet here? Is it you're working with the original tracking schedule?
Yeah, it doesn't get into a construction, granular level. But I can start to include a pack schedule in that if you'd like.
Please.
Cool.
And these change orders that we're talking about, you started to allude to a few of these digging, hitting water and so on. Are any of these three open change orders that we still show here, that we haven't really got into any kind of discussion with you being on vacation and not having enough answers back from the team, the design team? You've got two $5,000 ones and one $21,480 one. So out of 31,000 that's pending, the work you're talking about with the water issue, is that in addition to this? That hasn't been presented yet?
So as you had kind of mentioned, this is from prior to last week. The over excavation should not be a concern at this point. I think that's been resolved. The roof drain pipe ACM, that's the roof drain issue that Rocco was discussing, sleeving through the existing.
Right.
And again, those are just sort of estimates, our own valuers' guesses at this point. We don't have official change requests for that one or the storm structure one. The storm structure associated one is not identified on this contingency log, as the log was sent out prior to the issue popping up. The topsoil one we should have more information, I would say, by Wednesday on that. Like I said, we suggested to PAC in the group that only a small portion of the soil on the town yard website, or not website, site, is tested first. So we're going to bring over 50 yards to test the compaction. The makeup of the material didn't specifically meet the specifications of the geotech, but the geotech did review it. We had a proctor test done. He said that it seemed as though it should be acceptable, but obviously still needs to meet compaction. So we thought it was most advisable to just bring over 50 yards to test compaction prior to hauling over the entire amount. So once we get the results back from that compaction test from IMTL, we can make a final determination as to whether it's makes sense to bring the rest of that soil over. And obviously that has a major impact on that change request number 3.
Okay. When do you think we should be ready to sit with you and have a discussion about all of these open pending change orders?
I would say the change request number 3 would be, I'd hope to have it later in this week. If we know the IMTL test by the end of the day, Tuesday or Wednesday, then we should be able to talk about that. I should have something from PAC by the end of the week, Thursday. Maybe we can sit down Friday. From the other two, the storm structure and the ACM, we don't have a change order at this point. They're still working on formal direction, so PAC won't put together formal pricing.
Nope, I lost you, Matt. Hello, Matt?
Yep. Sal?
Oh, there you are. You're back.
So I don't know what you caught or what you didn't, but
Something about they're not done with the design.
Yeah, they're
the
still
last one.
Yeah, PAC still needs to get formal direction on the storm structure, the drainage structure.
Right.
Revision. So that probably, I would imagine that may be out by the end of the week, but it'll be tight. Depends on when DTC can get that information out, and have a conversation with the town engineer, make sure that that meets the requirements of the town.
Why don't we start setting some dates so it's not sitting too long and these aren't being addressed before memories are shot? Can we set something up? What do you think, Brian? Maybe next Tuesday? I mean, seeing that we're doing it through Zoom, I'm sure we can talk almost any time during the day, depending on everybody else's schedule.
Yeah, I'm pretty clear. I'm pretty open next week, so.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, Matt, you think you could be ready?
As long as we have the change orders in time, yeah. Like I said, there's still information that, that's out of my hands.
No, I understand that. Rocco, do you think you could have everything into the hands of the direction and everything they need?
Yeah, I think so. I think that should be all set that way.
By the end of the
then.
week?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's involved in pricing out this roof drain piping and so on. I would think a couple days should be enough for PAC. By Wednesday, we should be able to have a conversation.
Yep.
Or Brian, do you want to just set up a tentative schedule for every Thursday at 4 o'clock like we did before? And then we could always cancel it the day before. And it's always there, ready to go.
I think that should work. Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll circle back later this week to see if pricing came in and confirm. But yeah, that sounds good.
Because some of these things have been sitting out there for a couple of weeks now, and I know you're waiting on a lot of tests and your vacation and so on, but I don't think we should go much more than another week and a half at most to get all the information we need.
Yeah, it's certainly been an evolving situation and new occurrences, but agreed, meeting, having a tentative meeting time on a weekly or biweekly basis would certainly facilitate that process.
Yeah, and we could adjust it according to as items come up. But we're looking at 3 in a row in like 2 weeks. 3 weeks, sorry. So.
Anybody else have anything for Matt? So Matt, it basically sounds like since we're the critical path is probably hinging on the steel delivery, that there wasn't so much of an impact with the storm on our schedule.
The tropical storm, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have not been advised that was an impact to the critical path.
Okay. All right, if nobody has anything else for Matt, we'll move on to QA&M's discussion. Whatever you guys have to add. Rocco, I see Tom has joined us as well.
Yep.
Yeah, hi guys, how are you?
Good.
I'm in the car, so I don't have video.
Well, your video is probably not much better than John's.
So as we kind of discussed earlier, we're dealing with some of the site issues with the ACM pipe, with the storm sewer, and with the soils. That's moving forward. FF&E, we have started. We've provided a furniture package. We are in the throes of having the town vendors look at the security package, look at supplying some of the head end equipment for the town. So they're working on that. And, as you heard from Matt, we got steel showing up in a few weeks. We have the steel to sign, and I guess that's next week or the end of this week, right? You said the 14th. I think is when he said it's showing up. So things are moving forward.
So has everything been confirmed as far as the concrete? The brakes were okay. All the bolt alignments are good. Did they owe us a survey of that? All right, steel contractor or the GC in preparation for the steel. We don't want any surprises.
I've never had that question before. So
Well,
I'll go
it
on.
has to be ready for the steel to go up. Otherwise,
Yeah, they've been doing a good job of coordinating, and breaks have all gone well so far. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
By spec, they're gonna be required to survey all the anchor bolt locations. I don't think they have all of their piers in place yet, though, so they may be waiting on that. But they do have the field verify the locations of all the subgrade structures.
Correct. The interior piers are being impacted. Finishing those are being impacted by this ACM pipe that they're working on resolving.
Okay. Anything else
And there's,
for QA&M?
Sal's talking, but I can't hear him.
About that.
That's better.
Sorry about that. Matt, can you make sure that you confirm for Steve and the rest of the group that the survey is going to be performed before the steel shows up by the steel contractor? It's obviously PAC's responsibility to get it, but I've yet to see a job where we didn't have a survey completed before steel shows up. I agree with Steve. I mean, that's standard protocol.
Absolutely agreed.
Thank you.
Rocco?
Yeah, go ahead, John. I got you.
I was just wondering, there's some antsy about the chair. Are there other chair options available? Some people don't think it's would be comfortable to sit in there to play a couple bingo games, and some people don't like that flexible back. Some do, but I didn't know whether there was any other options.
Yeah, there's lots of other options for those types of things.
Okay.
So if somebody is anybody collecting comments? That I can present.
I'm not sure how many people have been able to make it down there to look at it. So maybe this week we'll send an email out to everybody with any comments.
Okay. Yeah, just send those to me and we'll take a look at it.
But it seemed like the colors were okay and the carpeting looked good. They liked the backing, I heard, but that chair, there's a little controversy with that.
Okay. And we're talking about the one for the multi-purpose rooms?
Yeah, the one that has the handle, it's the red one that's going to be blue and white.
Okay.
I don't know whether people like that flexible backing and so on, and whether the seating's good for, as I use as an example, the senior playing bingo for an hour or so.
John, this might be premature, but first off, who is ultimately responsible, or who's the committee that's responsible for approving the FF&E package is my first question. And the second question is, similar to what we did at the school that seemed to work really well, is assigning, whether it's the architect, whether it's the general contractor, whether it's the owner, who's responsible for cross-checking as things are ordered, delivered. Remember that grid we worked up for the school? We could probably just take their template and start with that.
Matt should go get that encyclopedia from Joe. That'd be coordinated. I think your first question, Sal, is more the interior design committee. It'd probably be their call on what we're going to go with the interior. And Brian and David sitting in on that too, so they have their input as well, even though they're not voting. I know, Brian.
Brian's familiar with this, but David, just so you know, there was a grid that we had a check mark, especially for communications, who owned what from each vendor as to who was responsible for checking this in. And I don't know if your firm uses anything similar, but it wouldn't hurt to at least get the template in front of the right people right up front. So we kind of use it as a guide. It worked very, very well and made the move in, the transition, and didn't leave a lot open questions. It hit pretty hard and fast, and it seemed to go very smooth. I don't know. Would you agree, John?
Yes, yes. Yeah. But a lot depended because we did have a lot and a lot of desks and stuff for the class. So I don't think we have the amount of furniture that as the school project have. So it shouldn't be too bad of a spreadsheet.
No, it shouldn't be. But the thing that we've always found in the past, as you remember, one of the first jobs we did was everybody was finger pointing and everybody kept blaming the town that it was our responsibility, especially in the communication connection side. Being very clear on what does the PAC group own, what does the town own, and if there's something in between that we're missing, we might need to work on getting those people on board quickly if we need another organization to help move this along. Specifically communications, telecommunications, computers, et cetera, making sure the right wiring is being performed, especially while we're roughing everything in, which is coming up very quickly here.
And does the town have a move coordinator or move management company contracted? Is that the route they're going? Or is there somebody internal that they use?
Well, we don't have a move contractor. I don't. Excuse me, Matt.
Sorry, yeah. Colliers and QAM will work together to coordinate that stuff.
Yeah, we've had several conversations with Phil Sear, the manager of facilities, and John, your IT director. So they have the plans, they have the direction to review all the locations, or John especially has the directive to review all the locations as to where desks are, where computers are, where we planned on putting monitors for either the security system or for media throughout the facility. So he's got that, he's reviewing that, and then he's also reviewing that and coordinating the town's vendors for that.
But they're also referencing, I hope, getting the right cabling to each location.
Yeah.
So that when they go to plug something in and it's, obviously clearly labeled down at, at the punch down. So.
Yeah. A bunch of that was
Who owns
coordinated.
hookup and all that too? Because a lot of times it'll be finger pointing at that point.
A lot of the locations were coordinated during design. Much of the infrastructure is included in the design documents. And John, Director of IT, was involved in that process. And then, like Rocco said, alluded to, he's also been part of the FFME, or the technology side of the FFME process to date. And
So you'll be in charge of delivery dates and all that and getting it in and out of the building with the moving company and all that?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. Appreciate the foresight there, Sal. Those are issues that will come up at some point. So, anybody else have anything for QA&M? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on to next item. John, is there any correspondence or communications?
No, not at the moment.
And you'll find in your packets, there are 3 invoices under bill payment recommendations, one from Colliers, one from QA&M, and one from PAC. So I will entertain motions for approvals on these.
Sal's talking again, but it's not coming through.
Sorry. I'd like to make a motion to approve Collier's invoice 006575 in the amount of, excuse me, I'm trying to see it on my screen here, $9,275.
Yeah, I have a motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by, I believe that was Steve. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. I'll do a roll call vote. Yay or nay, please. Mr. Gansey?
Yay.
Mr. Longo?
Yay.
Mr. Marchand?
Yay.
And Mr. O'Connor?
Yay.
Okay. Invoices approved. On to the next one.
Yeah,
Sal?
I'm just catching up to this. The right one. Like to make a motion to approve QA&M's invoice number 12777 in the amount of, sorry, got to get to the next page. Looks like it's two separate invoices here. No, I'm sorry, it's one. In the amount of $5,577.90.
I have a motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Steve. Any questions? Any discussion? Discussion? Hearing none. Do a roll call vote, please. Mr. Gansey?
Yay.
Mr. Longo?
Yay.
Mr. Marchand?
Yay.
And Mr. O'Connor?
Yay.
All right, invoice approved.
I don't know if this is the time to ask the question or if we should wait until after we make the motion. PAX invoice. Brian, what's the standard protocol here? Do we make the motion and then we discuss it?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve PAX invoice requisition number 2. Their invoice is 2001702 in the amount of 600, sorry, my screen, $657,109.69. Brian, your mic is
Sorry.
off.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Steve. Okay, any discussion? Sal?
Yeah, just Matt, did you review this yet?
Yes. This has been reviewed by both myself and QAM. The copy you have in your packet is just not signed by QAM, but they have signed it since. Because this went out a week early.
Yeah, just bear with me. I just wanted to take a quick look through a few things.
Sure.
They're pretty substantial on their submittals. Are we in good shape on their submittals?
Yeah, they've been chugging along through their submittals. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, how are they on the returns? I mean, are we pretty much, they're billing out 67%. Wait, so they break theirs down differently. I mean,
That's just for the 05 series.
yeah, okay.
It's broken out by trade.
Rocco, I mean, are you satisfied with their responses so far? I mean, are we in good shape on the submittals? We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, especially if they're not meeting all this. Are they meeting all the specifications so far on the first go around?
Yeah, pretty much everything has come in that's been in the project manual. It's been all the only thing that hasn't has been acoustic ceilings. They went with CertainTeed instead of USG. But other than that, it's been pretty easy.
Yeah, that's all I had for comments.
I guess my comment would be is that they're billing almost 98% on the structural steel materials. So that is work completed through July 31st. But yet we still have 3 weeks worth of work or fabrication that is going on in the shop. Does that seem to make sense to you guys?
Now, fabrication is pretty much complete on everything except for some minor lintels that they won't be ready for the steel on site until that time.
Okay, actually, okay.
They provided documentation.
That was materials. Materials versus fabrication are separated out. So, okay. Okay. I have nothing further. Any other discussion? Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. I'll call the question to vote. Mr. Gansey,
Yay.
Mr. Longo,
Yay.
Mr. Marchand,
Yay.
and Mr. O'Connor.
Yay.
All right, invoice is approved. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Sal, second by Todd. All in favor?
Aye.
Yay.
Anybody
Yay.
opposed? All right. Thank you very much. Our meeting is adjourned at 6:08 PM. Have a good night.
All right.
Thank you.
See you
You
guys.
too. Have a good evening.
Thank you.